Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Zereth Prevails. It's time for our monthly arena climb, which is exciting, I suppose. Lots of different teams out there still. Lots of different teams that we can beat. So we're starting at 27. We need to get to number 2 because at the time that this was recorded, that was my turn to take number 2. I swapped with one other guy. So moving into this match, Commander Luke versus General Skywalker. I do try to practice this counter as much as possible. It's not as consistent anymore because of the arena bug. Rather the General Skywalker bug that's being touted as a feature to us. But here we're just trying to go for the throat with General Skywalker. One thing that I will note here, and this will be the last time I do a freeze frame for you guys, look at 5s on the top left corner. Look at his turn meter. You don't want to do this move. You don't want to do an AoE against this team without his turn meter being nearly max. And that's just because if you do an AoE against the entire squad, then his turn meter jumps up from nothing to maximum score. So one thing I do want to point out there, I used Commander Luke's shift stance to call an assist from Chewie, and that's the thing that sat General Skywalker down. We're trying to avoid all the counters after, once you do enough damage to topple the bug, is to have him just counter anyways, and traditionally that's not what's happened. So this was actually a pretty easy team to be able to take out all of the clones in one go. Usually you need a couple topples to be able to manage that. Old Ben takes one for the team because that's what he likes to do, and we can pretty easily coast into the win here. Not all Commander Luke wins are that simple against General Skywalker, but I'm pretty content with getting an easy win, especially in arena. I've been falling to the upper 20s lately. This time I started at 27, jumped up to 20, and now we're going to attack this Padme squad that is completely relicked out and tricked out and just completely crazy with Darth Revan. I don't necessarily like this team that much, to practice on, just because you're probably never going to see this in the Grand Arena. Using Grandmaster Yoda and Jedi Knight Anakin, like that works in arena, obviously. I'm pretty sure this could beat any General Skywalker or Darth Revan team, which is why he uses it this way. But otherwise, it's the non-viable. Like this puts too many good characters on one squad. It just doesn't really work. So one mistake I made here was I used Bastila's debuff ability instead of just hitting the shock button and doing a ton of damage to the entire team. I definitely should have done that. My mistake, so I guess I get to suffer for it, I suppose, reluctantly. But this can really quickly and easily turn into a slugfest, a slogfest even. It's just really not a fun match at all, in my opinion. But we did kill Jedi Knight Anakin, and he's really the linchpin here. So once he's gone, Yoda can do some damage, but Anakin can do so much more. So once we got rid of General Kenobi, it's just a matter of time. The only way they can really threaten us is if they can stack up enough stacks of courage to one-shot us, and that's exactly what Padme did to Marauder, but frankly, no one liked that guy anyways. He was annoying everyone, I'm sure. And apparently the consequence for being annoying is general apathy when you die, which is what I'm saying here, apparently. Anyways, we're just trying to slog through here against Padme. Nothing really interesting is happening. Sometimes you win with 60 banners, or rather the equivalent, because this is arena, doesn't matter. Sometimes you win with just Malak, but you usually do win. And now I get the unique opportunity to tackle Jesus, which is always nice. And for this fight, I'm going to take my Padme squad, because why not? This isn't a really strong Darth Revan team. It's not a max relic team. And, it's good to practice this counter anyways. This is a counter that has constantly frustrated me. My Padme is really slow these days, and she likes being really slow because you want to accumulate a ton of debuffs after Bastila goes. The key to this whole squad, to this whole counter, is having Padme goes slower than Bastila, so Bastila is going to put all of her debuffs on everyone, and then Padme is eventually just going to go and cleanse everyone. Because of all of those debuffs that are sitting on all of the different characters, her cleanse also it turns those stacks into protection up, which eventually, once those characters get a turn, it turns those stacks of protection up into courage. Now, I know I said no freeze frame, but this is a great opportunity for me to go back on my word, so I'm taking it. And look at Jedi Knight Anakin at the bottom right there. He has a ton of stacks of protection up here. And in just a second, once I turn this freeze frame off, they will turn into courage, which is amazing. So watch now. And now he has 21 stacks of courage, which means he can hit for 160% of someone's max health, as long as it's not Darth Malak. So I did do an AoE there. Wanted to get offense up on everyone. Wanted the chance to get a twofer, kill two characters at once, which I did. And then Padme went crazy. She called an assist, and apparently that was enough to just wipe that Malak off the board. That is not the general win condition. Usually Malak doesn't just disappear like that, but happy enough with the win. And now we can move on to the next phase. And honestly, I wanted to show you guys a Darth Revan mirror match. We haven't done that for a while. It used to be super boring. It's a little more rare these days, but as long as you're faster than your opponent, then you're good to go. This is a really pretty easy matchup because my Revan was faster than his Revan. So I just put fear on the whole team, and now we're trying to one-shot their Marauder as fast as we can with our own Marauder, which panned out nicely because they had a ton of debuffs on them, and so my Marauder was super buffed. There wasn't a taunting tank going at that point, and I was just able to one-shot him. Once their Marauder's gone, then you want to take out Bastila in general. Sometimes you can take out HK instead, but you one way or another you just want to take out the support cast first, because what'll happen is a lot of people go for Darth Revan, and that works if you have a strong enough Marauder, or if you can do the Malak Force Drain thing or something like that. That works, but otherwise you don't want to do that because he shares health with people, and once he does that, he equalizes health, then it's going to give a huge turn another turn to Malak, and you can really boost their team a lot by trying to target Darth Revan. So I kind of just dance around where the fear is in general, try to target the periphery characters, and eventually it all kind of sorts itself out. So, that was a pretty close to max Darth Revan team. My Revan team is nowhere near that. They're all Relic 3 or something crazy, so easy enough there. And now I did want to show you guys the mirror match here with General Skywalker. It's not necessarily very fun, but it's something relevant to the current meta, and a lot of people are going to ask questions on how to do it. So that's what I'm doing here, just showing you guys. And this is actually a good showcase because my Rex is significantly slower than my opponent's Rex, so he's going first, and that's the perceived advantage. You see how my Skywalker is actually biting the dust significantly earlier. That's fine, and that's just because we want the opportunity for their General Skywalker to sit down, and we'll have a few turns of just shooting their 5s for a little bit, and then my Skywalker will stand up, and I'll have a few turns of him just being able to kind of manhandle their clones, and sometimes that's necessary if you want to be able to take down their 5s. Now you have to kill 5s first. That's a prerequisite, and as you can see, it was going really slowly until Skywalker stood up. He killed him pretty quick. One thing that I've been doing lately is killing ARC Trooper second, and you're kind of playing with fire with Rex, because he has his Annihilate and he does all that stuff. That's frustrating. But that being said, you're kind of protected from that Annihilate with your Skywalker. And frankly, like a lot of times, I actually don't think I've ever seen the enemy Rex ever use Annihilate. Like, even if I'm targeting ARC Trooper first, that it's relatively easy just to take him out. Before that, even if he's the third or even fourth clone to die. Anyways, this was a pretty easy match, and as are most of the General Skywalker mirror matches. No disrespect to my opponent, of course, but marched our way up to number 2, and that's that. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We're gonna keep it short, so I'll sign off here. Thank you guys so much for watching, and remember that in all things, Zereth prevails.